And you look at that final score, does it really indicate how competitive parts of the game were?
Well, they end up getting beat by 35, but they're playing a team on the road that has a bunch of pros. So here's what concerns Porter Moser tonight. They had 17 offensive rebounds against an elite athletic team that had tremendous size. They also forced 19 turnovers, Chad. 13 of those were live ball. And so the Sooners tonight, have to be careful here early, allowing them any confidence, because this team can hang around.
A little different look in the starting five for Porter Moser and the Sooners here tonight. Duke Miles backdoor, beautiful shovel to Godwin. His shot might have been partially blocked in there, and it's taken away by Scooter Williams Jr. The Lions will have a look on the offensive end. DeMarco Bethea is able to put it home, and East Texas A&M has a quick 2-0 start.
Yeah, Bethea, great job rim running right there. Should give them a little confidence to start out.
So the Sooners starting five, the first career start for the freshman Jeremiah Fears out of Chicago, Joliet, Illinois. He's in there with the two rocks, Godwin and Jalen Moore, and that guy, Duke Miles. He's got a 13-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, and he can do that too.
Well, he's not really had that breakout offensive game. He's been productive in other areas, as you're alluding to, Chad. Really good decision maker out front, and he's defended very well thus far.
And for the Lions, Khalik Abdul-Mateen is a guy whose scoring is up 8 points per game over a season ago. Tane Moser began his collegiate career at East Carolina, but Jared Von Rosenberg's brought in a bunch of junior college transfers, and he's hoping they can mesh quickly. This three by Abdul-Mateen is no good, and Jalen Moore with a quick rebound. Miles gets deep penetration this time. Kobe Elvis coming off a 24-point outing. He made 4 threes in Oklahoma's win over Stetson. Here's Fears banging his way in. He'll earn a trip to the free throw line. Scooter Williams Jr. cut him off and fouled him. No, they'll call that foul on the floor, did they? It'll be 2.
Here's a good look at Jeremiah Fears, Chad. You know, getting the start here tonight. And talented freshman, and you knew, you know, after watching him the first couple of games, even though he's young, what is he, 18 a month ago?
Just turned.
Ultra talented, and what Porter Moser's done tonight is you have Fears, Miles, and Elvis. You have 3 primary handling guards out front, and should have good decisions being made tonight.
Jalen Moore a little strong with that. Godwin got them the reset with the offensive tap back. And here come the Lions. Sooners on top 4-2. East Texas A&M, formerly known as Texas A&M Commerce, like 2 weeks ago. They've switched it. As Godwin gives a hard hedge here on Evan Phelps. Shot clock is at 10. This is Bethea, little jump hook that rims away, and Godwin collects another rebound. Miles, the crossover. Sooners going to settle in against this man-to-man defense for East Texas A&M. Solid defensive set now. Sooners with 10 to shoot. And Elvis bumped with 8 on the shot clock.
Man, what you'll see tonight from East Texas A&M defensively is they switch everything 1 through 5. Watch that.
There's Jared Von Rosenberg. It's his 8th season as head coach, 3rd season of Division I play. He's a past assistant at Hartford. They're transitioning to the Division I level, which is never real easy. They would go this season and one more season before being eligible for the NCAA tournament as it stands now. But 4 years of transition, and you go through all of that, you're trying to put the right pieces together and establish a culture, which he has done. A 3-ball rims out for Evan Phelps. A reset here as Josh Taylor grabbed it. Another by Phelps. That one's good.
Yeah, great ball movement right there off the offensive rebound. Move it quick while the floor is still broken. But yeah, going back to Coach Rose, is he's done a really nice job. They were at 500 their first year in the Southland Conference, and were 6-12 a year ago, but they had a ton of injuries that forced them to play really small. But he's done a really nice job there.
They've got a 5-4 lead here. Hard jump stop, and Chris Adlam going to be called for traveling with it. So Oklahoma will get it back. And East Texas A&M you look at last year, 13 wins. They had a 13-point lead at Kentucky at one stage on the road. There's Porter Moser. Really likes the start that his team is off to. Wins over Stetson, Lindenwood, and Northwestern State. They're going to be headed out to Atlantis, playing that battle for Atlantis next week. But he likes the test because this is a team in East Texas A&M that's been battle tested. Going to guard hard, and they're going to get after you. Their guards will attack downhill.
Yeah, they're going to space you offensively, and basically 5 out. They'll move it, look to drive. And if they can't turn the corner on you and get to the rim, they want to draw help and kick for the 3.
15 to shoot for the Lions. Scooter Williams Jr. turns down the screen by James. Lobbing it up top. Josh Taylor and a turnover. Jalen Moore picking it up for the Sooners.
Yeah, Williams, I think, had a path to the basket right there.
Ball movement comes to Elvis. They'll run him off the 3-point line, and he pays them with the bank shots.
With great ball movement right there, the extra pass. And then on the closeout, Elvis run off that line. Good straight line drive to the rim.
Elvis started his college career at DePaul. Porter Moser was aware of him as Coach Moser had been at Loyola. Then Elvis went to Dayton, and his game really flourished, transferring to be a Sooner this year.
It was great against Stetson there tonight, 24 points.
That's an air ball, but right into the lap of Josh Taylor, who scores.
Air ball, but there's that offensive rebound that we talked about. They are relentless on the glass.
Jalen Moore lines up a 3. He's 0 for 2 to start this one. Approaching that first media timeout, Jarrett Von Rosenberg would have to like the start his team's gotten off to. Cameron James, 6'6", kind of a wing player. He got trapped. Williams wiggles free. He finds Taylor, and Taylor draws the foul. Jalen Moore had to come over for rotational defense, and he committed the contact. 1-point lead for the Lions at the Lloyd Noble Center. The first stoppage. 7-6 lead for the Lions of East Texas A&M as we welcome you back inside the Lloyd Noble Center. And alongside Brendan Manzer, I'm Chad McKee. Sooners depleted by the transfer portal and graduation a year ago, but Porter Moser got some quality guys with experience in the transfer portal, including the Dayton transfer Kobe Elvis, who went off against Stetson the other day.
Yeah, and these guards that he signed are all experienced, intelligent players, and they're not one-trick ponies. And Kobe Elvis, like Jeremiah Fears, who's making his first start as a Sooner tonight, can learn a lot from these two and how to play the game correctly.
Yeah, it's one thing for the coaches to be on you about how to play, but to be able to watch and learn from guys like Elvis and Duke Miles, real benefit for young Jeremiah Fears. This is Josh Taylor, the Norcross, Georgia product, St. Thomas High School, 6'8", really good size. He's been a consistent player for Jarrett Von Rosenberg. They call him Coach Rose. And there's one of the new members of the 5 for the Sooners on the floor, Mohamed Wegi with the rebound. He's out there along with Glenn Taylor Jr., who has started a couple of games for the Sooners this year, coming off the bench tonight. Elvis trying to find that mid-wing area. A step-back 3. That's a tough shot. Hand in the face from Thomas. Wegi couldn't poke it out, and here comes Thomas the other way. TJ Thomas, the fall away off the mark. And here comes Kobe Elvis. Quick ball movement to Moore in the deep corner. This time he'll drive it. Miles steps into one. That one's good. So Duke Miles showing you the range here in the early going. Makes his first 3 of the night. We got a quick timeout taken by East Texas A&M. Oklahoma back on top.
Now here's that 3. Talked about Elvis. There's Miles right there, Chad. 17.5 points a game a year ago at High Point. Great decision maker as well. 3.5 assists a game, 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. The other thing that Miles did, in the question I think that I am looking to be answered, is can he get to the line? Now he went 141 times at High Point. Different level as you get into the SEC, but very good at driving, decision making, and driving to contact.
Really good off 2 feet. helped the Sooners. And they got into a little bit of a battle in the first half against Northwestern State a couple of games ago. He was kind of a key ingredient. And remember, this team is far from a finished product. They're playing without 3 very good guards in Jeff Nwankwo. Nwankwo had an Achilles tear in the summer. See when they're able to get him back. There's a beautiful steal by Miles. And still no Jadon Jones hasn't played this year, and the 3rd straight missed game for Bryson Goodine. But those guys combined to make over 200 threes a season ago at other stops. That lob for Wagee sails out of bounds, but he got shoved in the back. That's almost like a shot attempt. I mean, it's a lob for him to go up and complete a play, right? No, you're not buying that with me?
No,
okay.
I am trained to always concur with you.
Have an open mind?
Well, that too. But that was really good offense right there. You get the defense scrambling, and tonight we've seen it in a couple of possessions already. The ball is moving quick and sharp, and once you get to that 3rd side, you can drive it, just like the Sooners did right there. They just didn't connect because of the foul.
Elvis, good penetration. Moore steps into another 0 for 3 from 3-point range. But not bad looks so far.
You know, we talked about his improved shooting this year, but you look at a year ago, he made 25, shot 41%. So he already has a history of taking good ones. Porter Moser just wants him to take more, which he's been doing.
Malik Ugwu-Akazi has entered the lineup. Here he is for the Lions. Jalen Moore stays in front of him. 3 to shoot. Tay Moser, a deep 3. Moore all over him, and that'll be a shot clock violation against the Lions. And Porter Moser applauds the defensive effort. Oklahoma defensively, Brendan, this year, they are 8th in the country in steals per game at better than 12. And opponents right there are shooting around 20% from the 3 line. So a couple of very key statistics. Oklahoma's been good defensively this year.
They turned Northwestern State over 20 times. Stetson 23. But Porter Moser knows the competition gets tougher. I mean, he's pleased with it, but it's got to continue to get better.
Elvis got into mid-flight and had to toss it away. TJ Thomas took it. James stripped briefly by Miles and out of bounds. It'll stay on this end.
So one thing for sure that, you know, I see Jarrett Van Rosenberg talked about this. He felt like they really competed against UConn. You know, UConn ends the half on a 20-3 run, and that is something that takes the wind out of your sails. There's that last play, good hands twice from Oklahoma. But this team tonight, to me, they're competing. There's another lay-in right there, and they certainly are bringing it and giving Oklahoma everything they want up to this point.
Cameron James got that little jump hook off the inbound play, and it's 10-9 Lions. Good feed. Jalen Moore reverses one up and in. So Jalen Moore, 3 straight games of 20-plus points, and he has his first bucket tonight.
And I like that right there, Chad, because it was playing off 2 feet. It was simple.
That's a 10-second count. Sorry, Brendan.
No, that was just, it drives it to the heart and then just dumps it down. Again, I talked about this in the Stetson game. These are the type of plays you need to see out of Fierce. I mean, he's going to score some. He's going to get the last some. 2 feet, boom. And he saw Moore the entire time, drove deep enough to bring up that help defender, and then just made a simple bounce pass. And I promise you, those are the type of things that will be praised in the film room on Jeremiah Fierce.
You see Jacob Frenson Cole has entered for Oklahoma. Jalen Moore going to get a breather. Sooners have already forced 5 turnovers by the Lions. Look at Fierce get to the bucket, kick out. Frenson Cole misses the 3. Wagee tried to go back up, but he stepped on the baseline as Terry Oglesby was right on top of that call. And now Oklahoma going to pick up some full court pressure. Ugwu-Akazi turns it over. Miles from 3. Oklahoma now 2 of 9 from 3-point land. 1-point lead for the Sooners, approaching the 12-minute mark of the opening half. This is Evan Phelps, sophomore from Duncanville, Texas. Under 10 to shoot. Moser, lengthy one, is rinsed, and the Lions are back on top by 2.
They really like Tay Moser. He's a pick and pop guy. And at that 6'7" size can rise over the top. 5 of 13 coming in. And you can tell that he's got a tremendous ability to knock down the three.
Started his college career at East Carolina and then played at Bryant for a year before arriving at East Texas A&M. That one knocked away, tumbling to the floor, Evan Phelps, and a held ball. Possession arrow will go the other way to East Texas A&M, and they have a 2-point lead with 11:35 left in the opening half. East Texas A&M, the Lions, as we talked about, they're in year 2 of a 4-year transition from Division II to Division I, playing in the Southland Conference. By the way, the Southland's got a couple of new members this year, UTRGV and Stephen F. Austin, rebranding from Texas A&M Commerce to East Texas A&M, closer to home.
Yeah, that's an NBA travel schedule 2 of the last 3 nights. But no, he really encouraged about his team. I loved his perspective because he's right. He said, we're getting ready for Southland Conference play. And he said, I don't want to call these practice games, but we are in a 1-bid league. We're preparing for the Southland Conference, and this is how you do it. You go play tough people and go through some adversity and see what you're made of.
To shoot here and a turnover. Sam Godwin steps around and picks off that pass by Abdul Mateen. Taylor nearly slipped down. Godwin scrapping for that loose ball. Now the Sooners will try to settle into the half court. Taylor bangs his way in. That's a big physical guard, and it's in evidence right there.
Yeah, he's a nice piece because of that, Chad. 6'6", physical, good defender. Provides some length, but he's a really good rebounder as well.
And Porter Moser said, what's not to like? He is a bodied athlete who makes threes. And that's the component he provides. Moore swats that shot from, I beg your pardon, that was not him. That was Duke Miles with the block. Here's Fears. Bethea trying to stay in front of him. Floater good. He's just got that stride that allows him to get around defenders.
Yeah, and he has tremendous change of pace. And when he freezes you as a defender, if you relax and stand up, he'll go right by you. But they did a nice job of keeping him in front. Just a nice little floater by Fears.
Fears' first field goal. He's got 3 points. Sooners back on top at the midway mark of the opening half. 10 to shoot. Phelps, lengthy one. And Sam Godwin with another rebound, leading the SEC in rebounding at 12 per game. Fears blasts all the way to the rim and converts again.
And another thing as you watch him, Chad, and Coach Moser mentioned this to us prior to the season. As a young guy, he's not afraid to drive to contact and initiate the contact. He'll go right at your chin and right there absorbs a little contact. And he's so athletic, he can hang in the air a little bit to finish.
And Fears got a hand on that pass. Brenson Cole attacking, fouled, and he will go to the free throw line for a pair. You see the quick hands of Jeremiah Fears.
Yeah, watch this hesitation, freeze the defenders. But they actually did a nice job as a big. And then another one right at a guy more Fears size. And that's Abdul Mateen. Ultra talented Jeremiah Fears. He undoubtedly be one of the best freshmen in the SEC.
Another thing to observe there, Abdul Mateen was a football player. In fact, Jarrett Von Rosenberg said they joke that maybe he picked the wrong sport. That's who this recently turned 18-year-old was banging into and still finishing the play. Yeah. He's strong for as young and inexperienced at this level as he is Fears. Brenson Cole drilling that one. And Oklahoma on an 8-0 run. Now the last minute 30. And Fears has been a big part of it. Big force of steel and converting a couple of buckets. Largest Oklahoma lead is 6. Lions now just 10 to shoot. Nice find inside, but they didn't really cleanly handle the pass. It worked out for him, though.
And Oklahoma has settled in defensively. You know, sometimes, Chad, when you play teams that basically space and it's all 5 out, you see them on film, you have the scouting report, the coaches do a good job of relaying their tendencies, but you need a handful of possessions to get used to that, because several of these Sooners have had to guard multiple different guys. As you get back sometimes in transition, you're matched up with someone else. Oklahoma doing a great job of just keeping everything in front and using their length and size.
Williams off the mark from downtown. Lions started out making a couple of threes, but they're now 2 of 7. And now some full court pressure here from East Texas A&M.
And that's what your good defense will eventually do. Then, if a team's not disciplined, they will start taking marginal shots like that 3 right there.
Fears a one-man press break. Godwin pinned at the rim and a foul call. Just a little short on the dunk attempt. Ukwu Akazi called for the foul.
Look at that's the aftermath of the burst. I mean, he is so smooth. Goes right by 2 defenders. Has a 3-on-1. He has 2 options right there. Goes to Godwin.
Porter Moser talking about Sam Godwin starts to just really solid, what you expect from an experienced guy. Led the Big 12 in offensive rebounding a season ago, and this year already leading the SEC in rebounds.
And he mentioned this to us, and you and I actually talked about it the last broadcast, that to me, because Sam Godwin's going to get more minutes. You know, a year ago, he's played 19 minutes. Let's say he plays 25 to 26 this year, which is very realistic. His production's going to go up, but he has got to learn to finish better around the rim. He's so good at getting himself open, so good at getting the offensive glass. He gets 2 or 3 bunnies a game. He's got to convert those, especially when you get into SEC play.
He's left a few out there, as Porter Moser said. Only 8 to shoot. Heavy collision as Jalen Moore goes down, as does Chris Adlam of East Texas A&M. It's going to stay here with 7 to shoot for the Lions. And we'll see Cameron James back into the lineup. He'll replace Adlam. 9-0 run for Oklahoma, and a scoring drought approaching 4 minutes for East Texas A&M. Maybe it changes, and it does, as Williams rises and fires.
Now Williams, JUCO All-American at Chattanooga State in Tennessee. You know, one of the initiatives of this East Texas A&M team was to sign big guards, and he's one of those at 6'5".
Under 8 to play. Elvis trying to wiggle free from Thomas. A kick out 3 for Taylor Jr. No. And the rebound volleyed off Jalen Moore and down onto the floor. It'll be picked out of there by Ukwu Akazi. Williams lost it on the way up. A little ragged right now. Moore plays it ahead. Elvis lines up a 3. Moore rips away the rebound, and falling down finds Fears. Godwin volleyballs that one back, and Thomas has it for the Lions. Stop in the paint. Fears got on top of the ball as Thomas went up to the rim, and we'll hope he's okay. Scooter Williams Jr. is down. Fears picks up the foul. Free throws for East Texas A&M when we come back. 3-point shooting. Oklahoma 2 for 12, and it's been an off-season emphasis for Porter Moser to shoot more threes. Brendan, if they're good threes and 2 for 12, do you think most of them have been ones that Coach Moser would accept?
Yeah, I would say 10 of those 12 have been okay, but you also have to read tempo. You know, sometimes in some games you don't shoot the ball well. And Oklahoma's guards are driving to create the 3. But here's how East Texas A&M is defending. They switch everything, right? And they really pressure the ball. But I wouldn't say they're great containers. Because of the switching, you're going to end up with some matchups with some of those guards. Fears, Miles, Elvis, where you could drive to draw help, dump down to a Godwin or more, pull up jumper in the paint. They've got to start getting some paint points. Then, when that starts rolling, then you start working inside out and regaining that three-point momentum.
About 41% of Oklahoma's field goal tries this year have been threes, and that's a rate that Porter Moser's comfortable with. Want to take more threes. As you said, it looks a lot better when they go down, but they haven't all been bad looks. 20-17. There's 7 minutes left. Wagee is back in for the Sooners. Josh Taylor in for the Lions. Pretty good scrum here. Great hustle by Scooter Williams Jr., but Moore breaks free, and Fears finishes it.
Yeah, that was great effort by Williams, but just couldn't quite knock it free from Moore. And so once Moore was able to finally retrieve it, you had the numbers.
This is Evan Phelps, guy that Jervon Rosenberg said made the most progress of anybody on the roster over the summer, and Thomas buries that three, averaging 3 points per game. He's got him right there.
Yeah, Jervon Rosenberg, he has 5 junior college transfers that he signed in this year's class. He's one of them.
Wild shot by Miles that is sent away by Josh Taylor, his 7th block of the year.
You know, we talked about Oklahoma's three-point shooting. East Texas A&M was 3 of 17 in Stores 2 nights ago. This is the block right there from Taylor after the three-point shot from T.J. Thomas.
Fears will inbound for Oklahoma. Moore attacks right away. Didn't complete it. It'll stay on this end. They say it went off Josh Taylor. Only 2 points for Jalen Moore so far. 1 of 5 from the field. He's had 3 straight games of 20+ to start the season. First Sooner to do that since Buddy Hield did it. Now, Blake Griffin had 5 straight to start a season. And Duke Miles, a lot of traffic in the tall trees, and finishes anyway.
That's what happens when you play off 2 feet. Kind of in no man's land, but multiple pump fakes. You finally bait the bigger defender in it, and no question right there. Comes down with those arms. Great job of Miles absorbing contact right there and being able to finish. That's just a veteran play. Doesn't seem like you have anything available and to make something out of it.
Balanced the first on Bethea, and Duke Miles cashes in the old-fashioned three-point play. He's off to a quick 9-point start here in the first half. Evan Phelps here at the controls. Brother Surik was an all-conference guard at SMU a season ago. There's Thomas gaining penetration and finds the window for 2.
Thomas come in and giving them a little spark offensively.
Extra pass. Elvis lines one up. No. Phelps going to settle down into the half court. 3-point game. And East Texas A&M perfectly comfortable running their sets, Brendan.
Yeah, absolutely. Push and transition, be opportunistic. And if not, I mean, you're in a 1-possession game. Just make sure you get a good look here.
As Cameron James rimmed out. Wagee contesting the rebound, and it's taken by Duke Miles. Double clutch. Wagee, count it. The big fella under the rim reached one of those long arms up and got the conversion. He'll shoot one.
Now, Wagee, a year ago, played with a stress fracture. Easy for me to say. It wasn't 100%. 100% healthy this year. Porter Moser has talked, Chad, to us about his motor has been great. So you have Jalen Moore, Sam Godwin, who can run the floor great. And if you're going to push in transition like they want to do, you have to have those bigs running the floor. Wagee right there showing the ability to do that and not only run, but also finish.
It's a great story. I was reading about Wagee on Oklahoma's website. Just his journey. Born in the Bronx, New York, grew up in Mali, came to Harcum College, junior college, played at West Virginia, then Alabama to the Final Four last year, and now an Oklahoma Sooner. Happy to be here in Norman. But what a journey. What a life. He's still a young guy, and you think of all of the experiences that Mohamed Wagee has had. You hear him talk, you can see that he's got a lot of life experience. Oklahoma by 6, under 5 to play, and that knocked out of bounds. Boy, Fears just adds to the lengthy defenders Oklahoma has on the perimeter, Brendan.
Yeah, and you know, he's a guy you can see that could stuff the steal department. Like the offensive end, defensively too, you have to make good decisions. He has got to continue to learn when and when not to pick those spots.
Fears shadowing Phelps out top. 5 to shoot. Scooter Williams Jr. tried to back Moore down to no success. And a 3 by Phelps is good out of the corner. Late shot clock 3 ball for the Lions.
Yeah, it couldn't worked out any better, but you force just enough help and you get the good ball movement, swinging it from side to side.
Phelps first made 3 of the night. That's a tough shot and converted. Duke Miles once again showing you how athletic he can be. Sooners back up by 5. Miles now has 11 here in the first half.
And they've quit settling for the 3 as much. Paint points right there in the drive.
Yeah, the shot clock trickling down. Phelps kind of probes. A 3 ball by Josh Taylor. No. And Jalen Moore with his 3rd rebound. Wagee got a great screen to allow Fears to get where he went. And he will eventually wind up at the foul line.
Well, Oklahoma clinging to a 5-point lead. Duke Miles, little drive to the basket, little dipsy-do. More paint points needed for Oklahoma if they're going to get separation.
A good story. He was originally committed to Illinois. He's out of Chicago. Of course, Porter Moser has great ties to the Chicago area, but he starts playing the summer circuits, the EYBL circuit, and averages about 22 a game in that. And Brendan, that's something that really translates. Decided he wanted to reclassify, and Oklahoma was a great spot for him.
It is a great spot. You know, he wanted to go somewhere where there was need at point guard. Obviously, you have Miles and Elvis, but neither are true point guards. Very good, solid guards, good decision makers, as we've talked about. But Fears has a chance to be elite with the ball in his hands. And, you know, it's interesting. I mean, he's played good so far, but you know, as I prepped for the game today, I'd forgotten he's scored in double figures each of the first 3 games off the bench. And it doesn't even look like he's had his game yet. But tonight, been absolutely outstanding. 8 points so far, maybe 9 here on just 4 field goal attempts, which tells you he's not settling for jumpers. He's getting downhill.
Dat Jeremy played at Ohio U and Bradley. High-level experience, then over in Europe for a good number of years. And Jeremiah spent a lot of time as a kid over there in Europe. And his brother there at Michigan State, named Jeremy as well, playing for Tom Izzo. It's a Hoops family. And Jeremiah's having a good night tonight. Sooners by 7. It's their largest lead. It's going to be a reach-in foul, I believe. Let's see who they got for that one. They will get Glenn Taylor Jr.
So if I'm East Texas A&M and their staff, I mean, you're thinking, okay, but the 6-minute mark, we're hanging around in stores against the number 2 team in the country 2 nights ago, and then they end on a 20-3 run. You know, now you're inside 3.5 minutes, 7 down. You just want to not allow Oklahoma to extend this, and you'd have a lot of positives to talk about going in at halftime.
5 to shoot for the Lions. Phelps will have to either get one away or it's going to be a shot clock violation, and Fears impacted that one. Did hit the rim. Loose ball. Phelps to the window, and a foul on Jalen Moore. Well, that worked out for the Lions.
Yeah, great effort in running down the basketball. And because they were able to get it, you have a broken floor. And Chad, on offensive rebounds or long offensive rebounds, you do one of two things. Broken floor situation, you drive it straight to the rim, which they did there, or if you can't do that, move it immediately because you have numbers, and usually on the weak side or the back side, you end up with a pretty good look. So great effort. Again, that's how they had, in some part, 17 offensive rebounds against UConn.
And it's back down to a 5-point game here with 3 minutes left in the first half. Fears. Very comfortable. 9 points, 3 of 4 from the field, 2 assists, a steal, and he gallops to the window there.
I almost said, but I didn't want to, I was going to say, he got the switch right there, Moser, and I knew he liked that matchup. No way Moser can stay in front.
Jeremiah Fears, the second Sooner in double figures tonight. Thomas turned and scored the bucket. They'll call a reach-in foul against Duke Miles. You know, the last 2 trips down court, they haven't been beautiful offense for East Texas, but it's worked out. And Thomas has got the chance at a 3-point play.
Well, when you're playing a team that has better size, more athleticism in most of the spots, you have to do ugly things, garbage things, whatever it takes. And they've done a tremendous job. They haven't allowed Oklahoma to bust this open. And the pace has also favored them overall.
Fears finds Taylor, blocked from behind by Scooter Williams. It results in a 3 by Miles that's good up high.
Just talked about the offensive rebound for East Texas A&M. Oklahoma, great ball movement right there off the offensive board, the block, finding a wide open 3 at the top of the key.
Have a half. Duke Miles, his third 3, and he's got 14. Shot clock plays under 10. Nice baseline spin and a reverse by Scooter Williams Jr. Real name is James, but you call him Scooter. 6-point game with 1:30 to play first half. There's Godwin, blocking foul.
So there's the block. Godwin kicks out. He had that broken floor extra pass. Miles steps into it. But I'm going to nitpick a little bit right here.
Okay.
Sam Godwin's got to lay that in. That is a 1 step right to the rim for Godwin.
It worked out.
It worked out.
But you would prefer. Use that 6'10" frame, go up and over, and convert. And there's a foul on the rebound. Glenn Taylor Jr. called for reaching in that scramble. So we march to the other end. That's 7 fouls against Oklahoma. And so 1-and-1 time for East Texas A&M. Porter Moser's team, they've had opportunities to distance themselves, but so far, East Texas A&M's had the answers. And so Josh Taylor lines up the 1-and-1. Rebound collected and put in by Cameron James. And Porter Moser does not like what he has seen. He takes a timeout. East Texas A&M gets within 37-33.
Yeah, well, a cardinal sin of basketball, giving up an offensive rebound on a free throw. Hey, credit Williams right there, number 1. We talked about the big guards of East Texas A&M. Big physical guards that can rebound. Taps that ball free, keeps it alive, and they get a lay-in.
We also talked about their offensive rebounding against Connecticut 2 nights ago. You know, it's all this travel that they've done. They've still got their legs under them here late in the first half. It's a spot where, you know, the last 4 minutes you mentioned at Connecticut, it started to get away from them. That hasn't been the case. They found their legs with just 1 day of rest after being all the way in Storrs, Connecticut 2 days ago.
Does that go back to what Coach Van Rosenberg told us before the game, that at least we're getting closer to home? They can sense that they're close.
A whistle off the ball. Sam Godwin coming way away from the bucket. And Brendan, I don't know if it's like a hack-a-shack type situation, but Godwin struggled a little bit from the foul line. That's a foul way away from the bucket as he's setting a screen.
Yeah, I don't think they
I'm overthinking it there.
Well, like you said previously for Oklahoma, sometimes things work out, but Jared over there did not like it. You could tell by his body language.
Sam Godwin 1 of 4 at the line. Looks like Porter Moser's going to send the freshman Dayton Forsythe into the game here with a minute 15 to play in the first half. Godwin back on track there. And so here is Forsythe, the Dale High School product. Take you about 25 minutes to get to the home of the Pirates from the Lloyd Noble Center. So you got the 2 freshmen out there in Forsythe and Fears in a really small lineup. Jacob Fredson Cole is the tallest Sooner on the floor, and he goes about 6'7". Minute left in the opening half. Thomas, Fredson Cole picked him up. Good rotation by Forsythe that time. Williams launches a long 3. And Fredson Cole picks it away for the Sooners. You might could get a 2-for-1 here. We'll see. Fears trying to change directions, lost it to Cameron James. It works out for the Sooners. Fredson Cole trying to find some room, stripped, and they say out of bounds off of Evan Phelps. It'll stay here.
Yeah, that was Jeremiah Fears was trying to get that 2-for-1, but you don't want it to drive into a bunch of traffic. Fortunately, the Lions just gave it right back, basically doing the same thing.
So 9 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock closing out the opening half. Oklahoma has led by as many as 8. Extra pass for Elvis. And up to grab the rebound is Josh Taylor. Shot clock is off. And East Texas A&M can make this a 1-possession game at halftime with a make. Thomas way out there, no, and that'll do it for the opening half. So an 8-point lead, which once was, has been reduced to 5 at the break. 38-33 Oklahoma headed to the locker room. Sooners closing out a 4-game season.
Getting downhill. There was a couple times also, Chad, where I really liked. He played off 2 feet. He drove it and just made the simple pass and got an assist. What you want out of him is you don't expect him to shoot as high a clip all the time. Decision-making to continue. Hey, the faster that gets better, the better Oklahoma gets quick.
Agreed. We take a look at the numbers on the first half. Sooners shoot from the field overall, solid 45%, but East Texas A&M shot 50% in the first half. Rebounds completely even. When Oklahoma started to put a little bit of distance between the two teams, they stopped settling for threes. They curtailed all the three-point shots, started driving to the basket. I would expect that to be a consistent theme as we start half number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if you're knocking them down, because they're going to get looks, and they're going to get pretty good looks as long as they're moving it well. It's just those guards reading the momentum, time and score. You talked about Oklahoma doing better when they quit selling for the 3. East Texas A&M started doing better when they quit turning it over. They had those 10 first half turnovers, but most of those were early in the game. They were better late in terms of ball security.
Set for the second half. Oklahoma closing out a 4-game homestand. East Texas A&M, their 5th of 6 opening games on the road before they're able to get home. And you said do better talk. That's what Porter Moser was likely giving to his Sooners in the halftime locker room. That's being continued as he goes through the whiteboard right before his team hits the floor.
Yeah, and I say that with respect with what Jarrett Van Rosenberg's team has done. I mean, they've competed, they've hung around, they've done all the things they need to give themselves a chance. But probably the most flat Oklahoma has been, certainly coming out of a first half. I would expect a lot of energy. And Chad, you know, you've been doing this a long time, and a lot of that time, unfortunately, with me. But you know, where does the energy show up? It shows up on the defensive end. That's where energy and toughness occur, and I bet you it's better from Oklahoma here.
Yours might be from a Red Bull can, but you got to get it how you got to get it, partner. This tipped into the back court, and a turnover picked up by Bethea. He'll attack the window. No. Got his own miss and scores.
Boy, great job of East Texas A&M getting up the floor right there. And that's, hey, it's a careless exchange from your point guard to the wing. Sometimes your job as a point guard, just get us into our offense.
There's Jalen Moore. His shot sent back the other way by Scooter Williams Jr. East Texas A&M, the chance to cut it to 1 or perhaps even tie on this trip. Remember, Oklahoma led by as many as 8 in the first half. Abdul Mateen shuts it down. Here goes Bethea. Shot clock at 10. Scooter Williams Jr. stripped by Fears, but a whistle down on the baseline. Terry Oglesby got him. So the reach-in called against the freshman Fears. That is his second personal foul. And free throws coming here for Scooter Williams Jr. Big guard who can finish at the rim. You mentioned second-team JUCO All-American at Chattanooga State. Goes by Scooter, but the name is James.
Yeah, we mentioned 5 junior college transfers that came in this year for the Lions, and most of those 5, Chad, have good size and are good players that can score in multiple ways. But as you know, it takes some time to get used to the speed and the size of this level, and it's almost like, okay, they've had this tough schedule. This is their 6th game already, and so they should be getting used to it. They're on a fast track of experience.
And playing in big environments against big teams, not an issue. They've been there, done that already, even though the season is young.
Yeah, played at Iowa, at South Dakota, which is always tough, at A&M, UConn, and now here.
Elvis lobbing it up for Godwin. He'll retrieve it and finish it on the backside.
Good execution right there. Nice finish there from Sam Godwin. And most importantly to me, an emphasis on paint points out here at the beginning of the second half.
Sam Godwin's first field goal of the night. He's got 4 points total with 5 rebounds. That 3 short from Josh Taylor, and a foul on the rebound. They're going to get Bethea for being a little over aggressive underneath.
Texas A&M foul is called on Bethea, number 23. That is his 3rd.
Marco Bethea, his 3rd collegiate stop, had a pair of junior college stops.
Yeah, good find by Sam Godwin. Go find your offensive player, put your body on him. And Bethea, you don't want him to pick up a 4th here, because he has been a guy inside that has helped neutralize not only Sam Godwin, but also Jalen Moore a little bit.
He's the 2nd Lion with 3 fouls. Abdul Mateen also has 3 fouls, and Jalen Moore has 3 points.
And one thing that helped the Lions is Jalen Moore only played 13 minutes in that first half because he had those 2 fouls. So Porter Moser elected to protect him so he wouldn't pick up that 3rd.
So Jalen Moore makes his first 3 of the night. He's 1 for 4 from downtown now, 5 points.
Yeah, another good 3 from him. And for the most part, you know, he's 0 for 3, as you mentioned in the first half, Chad. But 2 of those were really good looks, and one wasn't that bad. He just hadn't been knocking them down.
That one's going to go off of Scooter Williams Jr., and Oklahoma will get another look at it. Fears to trigger. Into the hands of Miles. He's got 14 points. Elvis lost it. Fears lines up a 3, and it works out well for the Sooners as Fears knocks down his first 3 of the night. And we've got a timeout taken by East Texas A&M. The Sooners have equaled their largest lead of the night, 8. Beg your pardon, 10 is their largest of the night.
Well, better energy is what Oklahoma needed in the second half. First couple possessions, a little shaky, but since then, Oklahoma's knocked down a couple threes, has their first separation in double digits of the night.
Sooners stretch the lead out to 10, their largest of the night, 46-36. Welcome back inside the Lloyd Noble Center. An 8-0 run for Oklahoma. Identical numbers here for Jeremiah Fears and for Duke Miles, both 5 of 7 from the field. They have combined to go 4 of 7 from three-point range tonight.
They've been great. I mean, when your guards play well, you can overcome a lot of things. And we talked about it early in the broadcast tonight. You know, you have Elvis, who has the potential to have a big night, 24 points against Stetson on Saturday. Miles has played well, but hadn't had that breakout offensive game. That is happening thus far this evening. Obviously, Fears is multi-talented. Now, the rest of the Oklahoma Sooners are 6 of 24 on the floor for 30% and 1 of 11 from three-point range. So as soon as they get a third Sooner, which may be Jalen Moore, going here in the second half, that's when Oklahoma will separate.
They cut off by Godwin inside. Taylor tries a jump hook, and it banks off the window and down to stop an 8-0 Oklahoma run.
Yeah, great play out of the timeout. You get the matchup, the size advantage right there.
Godwin starts ball movement to Moore. Missed that one. Volleyed back out by Sam Godwin. Jalen Moore going to pick up the loose change underneath. Surrounded. And now Fears will just kind of reset it here. Poked away from behind by Phelps, who tries to save it but can't. Good effort there by Evan Phelps. And the shot clock is at 8 for Porter Moser Sooners.
And he's Texas A&M. Keep everything in front. Be solid right here. Don't gamble.
5 to shoot. Elvis slashing and scoring. It's nice to have a guy who can just go get 2.
Yeah, can go get 2, but he had a free lane down that left-hand side. You have to play straight up defensively, and as soon as he drove, I looked over at Jarrett Van Rosenberg, and he just put his hands up in the air. I mean, you got it down to 8 seconds, Chad. You have to keep in front.
Backside rebound claim by Fears. He's a one-man fast break when he gets it. And we got an offensive foul headed the other way. An illegal screen against Sam Godwin of Oklahoma. And a timeout here. Oklahoma equaling the largest lead they've had tonight at the under-16 media timeout as the Sooners try to go to 4-0 to start the season. Well, it's a 48-38 Oklahoma lead. Sooners able to increase the lead to start this second half. And right there you see Bryson Godine, who's missing his 3rd straight game. He played the opener, suffered an ankle injury there, and hasn't played since. He's been in practice a little bit, but hasn't been able to get healthy. So here's who the Sooners are missing. Jadon Jones has not played yet this year, and Jeff Nwankwo at some point, he's coming off an Achilles tear this past summer when he was maybe the Sooners' best player. And so you're talking about guys who have combined a season ago to make nearly 220 threes, Brendan, and they all shot 37% or better. Unavailable tonight. At some point, they hope to have all 3 of them.
Well, Bryson Godine played in the opener and hit 3 in that one. And that was a huge initiative of Porter Moser and his staff in the offseason. Is finding guys that can shoot it. And they have, and on paper and historically, these are all proven shooters. You know, Godine had 77 makes a year ago at Fairfield. He shot 47% from 3, Chad. And I don't care if you're wide open every time. In this day and age, that is excellent. So hopefully you get 1 or 2 of those guys. Ideally, you'd like all 3 for more options. But there is more shooting, additional experience potentially available down the line for Oklahoma. So the silver lining is Jeremiah Fears, who was going to eventually play a lot anyway, thrown in the fire earlier. And other guys like a Glenn Taylor or Elvis and Miles asked to do much more than maybe they'll be asked to do later.
Sooners force that turnover. Now 10 to shoot here for Fears. Backing down Phelps. Good ball movement. Creates a 3 by Taylor that's good.
3-point bucket by Glenn Taylor.
Taylor shot 42% last year. Didn't take a lot of them, but
you know, I did the numbers. They've got 6 guys on the roster who are 33% or better from three-point range during their careers. And that's with a good sample size.
Back in my day, if you shot 33%, you didn't get to shoot them.
Well, 33% not ideal, but acceptable. We'll just say that.
The line's further back.
Moore punishes the rim after Elvis found him. Well, Porter Moser really happy with the way that both Moore and Godwin have run the floor, winning the first 3 steps in transition for his bigs. And there's a foul on the floor.
I mean, watch Jalen Moore. I mean, Kobe Elvis just has to bounce past that. I mean, it's so smooth, runs the floor great. You know, they haven't been able to get out in transition much. I mean, certainly as much as they would have liked. We talked about how East Texas A&M had a bunch of turnovers early, but for the most part have protected it much better since about midway through the first half.
That's 7 fast break points, to your point. Another 3 on the way by Taylor is good. Better guard that man.
That's a good sign right there, Chad. So you have a teammate that makes a shot, and you basically drive to help to set that up. It was designed. That's just guys playing together right there.
There's a blocking foul on the floor, but again, good ball movement created by a little penetration.
What'd Yogi say, Vera? Deja vu all over again?
He said a lot. It ain't over till it's over. Could go down the book. There is Mohamed Wegi back in. And he'll give Jalen Moore a little breather. Jalen Moore now 7 points. This is a 10-0 Oklahoma run, and overall it's 18-2 the last 4.5 minutes. Where do the Lions go for offense on this end? Maybe it's a 3 by Abdul Mateen, and it is. Cashes that one in. A big shot stopping a 10-0 run.
Boy, Abdul Mateen did a great thing right there in cutting down the distance of the pass. There's just enough help, but he came to it. Was able to shoot in rhythm.
There's Dayton Forsythe, who's up off the bench. And that 3 rims out for Duke Miles. Miles has been feeling it tonight. He's now 3 of 5 from three-point range. Moser knocks home a 3. Back-to-back threes by the Lions to get themselves back in it.
He has a really good release. I mean, that is a true pick-and-pop guy. Also a guy that can catch and shoot.
Taylor got fouled by Uguakazi, and so 2 free throws coming here for Glenn Taylor Jr.
Yeah, they like Moser. I mentioned that earlier. Pick and pop, and that's smooth right there. Had one earlier. They also think, as he gets more playing time and experience, that he can play make a little bit from that 4 position. So in other words, he's pretty skilled. Might be able to run a little offense through him in terms of utilizing his passing.
Taylor catches the front rim and drops that one home. 9 points for him tonight. His first trip to the foul line. Things a little more comfortable now for Porter Moser and the Sooners. Kobe Elvis, 4 points. See him over there talking to the head coach. And Kobe Elvis, 6 assists in this game. He just finds a way to contribute, even if the shots aren't falling for him. Touched a lot of the rim with both of those, but he's able to convert 2. Largest Oklahoma lead has been 18. It's currently 14. There's young guards out there together again, and a steal by one of them, Fears. Taylor gave him a little screen running down court, and Fears lost it. Abdul Mateen's 3 is an air ball. And out of the pack comes Kobe Elvis. Fears, triple, no. Running rebound, TJ Thomas. See if the Lions settle in a little bit in the half court. Nope, James launches. Air ball right to Fears. I think maybe Jarrett Von Rosenberg would have preferred to run a little offense.
You have those great pipes. I thought when you said maybe they'll settle into their offense, they might hear you.
It was kind of quiet at the time. I think they heard me, but I was ignored.
When you have two shots in a row that are a little bit off to the right and don't touch rim, it's time to
cold front moving
look
through
for something else. Yeah, ceiling fans are on.
Forsythe putting it on the deck. Great find there, and the three by Taylor's off the mark. Wagee the back tap, and he back tapped it too well, out of bounds. Under 12 timeout coming here. 14-point lead for the Sooners. Once led by 18. East Texas A&M trying to stay in the fight. Oklahoma has led by 18 here in the second half. Current advantage is 14 over East Texas A&M, and the threes are falling a little better. Sooners shot 3 of 15 from downtown in the first half. Second half, they are 4 of 9. But Brent
can shoot the three. Does that make sense? So they're just playing more of taking what the defense gives. And it doesn't always have to be a long-range shot, particularly if they're not falling. But for the most part, they've been pretty good looks. Most have had pretty good space in between the shooter and the defender.
East Texas A&M has hung in it, though. They have made 40% from the field and 6 of 19 from three-point range. Working his way down the paint goes James. And Fredson Cole has the rebound for the Sooners. Oklahoma +3 in the rebounding. There's a turnover. Thomas to the window and the bucket.
Yeah, and Porter Moser will get Fears out of the game. See, that is what, and it's not his fault. He hadn't played enough. And what does Coach Moser say? Hey, that works at Peach Jam.
Yes.
But does not work here. No, that's just carelessness. You do that in January and February, that costs you games.
Beautiful find by Fredson Cole, and Forsythe gave a ball fake that was almost too good. Uguakazi picks up the foul.
Yeah, right there behind the back, and then there's a help. You have your head down. And that's an easy one for the Lions.
Uguakazi whistled for that one, and that is his second. But Faye has 3, and Abdul Mateen is playing with 3. Elvis to Fredson Cole. And it will head the other way. They say Sam Godwin touched it from behind, out of bounds. Boy, we've got a good officiating crew tonight. Terry Oglesby, Courtney Green, and Keith Kemble with us. Some other games around the SEC to keep an eye on tomorrow, but tonight this is it. Uh-oh, we playing hurt down here? Uh-oh. Header. Play through the paint. Walk it off. Come on, walk it off. Three-quarter court trap thrown at the Lions by the Sooners. Scooter Williams and Godwin came over. So this is a consistent theme for East Texas A&M. Their guards really like to come at you downhill.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really like Williams. 6'5", strong frame. You know, he has shown that when he gets the angle, because he's got those broad, strong shoulders, you can't recover. Drives it with strength, and he did exactly what you have to do. You have Godwin coming over to rotate as a big. He goes right at his chin.
There's 2 fouls on Godwin, and Jalen Moore returns for the Sooners. Moore's got 7.6 rebounds in this game. As you mentioned earlier, he's been battling a little bit of foul trouble tonight. Picked up 2 in the first half, so that's kind of limited his playing time. And he's got 3 as he comes back into the game with 10.5 minutes left. Backdoor cut. Moore. 2 free throws coming up. They called that one on Scooter Williams.
Nice play right there. This is the dribble handoff, and I don't want to call it false action because action away from the ball can be called false action, but it was so much attention drawn to the handoff, and then you just slip more because you have 5 out in the perimeter. Nice little play. Get you opportunities for some points, but just as important, you get Jalen Moore going. Potentially.
Jalen Moore, 3 straight games of 20-plus points to start the season. The last Sooner to do that was Buddy Hield in 2015. And the Sooners are about to head to Buddy Hield's homeland of the Bahamas to play in the battle for Atlantis. Great when Buddy Hield comes around. He's so giving and kind to everybody. It's just like he never left when he comes back. Remember his very first game? You and I broadcast his first college game. What an incredible career he had.
One thing we don't do, Chad, right? Is
we don't worry about Buddy. Golden State Warriors don't worry about Buddy. Under 10 to play. Sooners by 14. Elvis thought about it. And Taylor, really a 5-second count before Moore was able to bail him out. Jalen Moore is attacking. Godwin had it stripped from behind. Here come the Lions. Scooter Williams Jr. probes. Can't finish it. Strong rebound by Bethea, and a foul is called on the floor. If it's on Moore, it's number 4. And that is the case. As Keith Kimball got Jalen Moore, he may have to go spend some more time sitting next to the coaches.
Yeah, here's the miss. Bethea right there, yeah. Jalen Moore grabs the back of his jersey. See right there? Yeah, there's no need for that. Especially when you have those 3. That was right in front of the officiating crew.
So the officials are headed over to look at something, and I think Courtney Green's going to give...
Call on the court is a common foul. That play's under review.
So they're going to just look at the full view. See Terry Oglesby and Keith Kimball over there. So common foul against Jalen Moore was the call.
I'm going to go look. But to check and just see if this is a potential flagrant 1. And
a little tug of the jersey, is that enough?
Yeah. I mean, it's like in his fingertips, you know. I mean, if he's got a fistful of jersey, then maybe, and he yanks him back.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it really moved anybody. It is number 4, one way or the other, on Jalen Moore. The determination would be, is it the free throw and the ball for the Lions here? Looking for excessive and or unnecessary. I mean, maybe unnecessary. Play on the ball, okay, you could make that argument. Hold or push from, okay, maybe.
Is it excessive enough? I mean, they're spending a little time over there.
After review, the play's been upgraded to a flagrant 1.
I mean, I can see it. You tug the jersey, it is a hold, and then probably the force wasn't excessive. Right. The play was probably excessive. You agree with me?
Yeah, I agree. That's a good explanation. And what they're trying to do, and Jalen Moore was not trying to hurt Bethea.
We appreciate Terry Oglesby.
You're trying to protect players. You know, anytime you leave your feet, I mean, if your feet get knocked out from under you, or you're pulled or pushed from the front or back, you know, injuries can occur. So that, you know, to me, that decision was based on, hey, we're trying to protect players and remind you as players that those type of things could have different type of results if you're not careful. You agree with that?
I do. No, I see the reason for everything. I see the reason for the foul, and I see the reason they upgraded it.
Have we agreed this much before?
It's kind of dangerous. So Bethea was fouled. He will shoot 2. His first trip to the foul line tonight. He is now 4 of 6 on the season. The Lions will then get the basketball. So out of all this, they'll have a chance to cut it back below 10.
So I am always, I guess which is my job, but I'm looking at what plays like this do for each team. So now it's a 13-point game. You have the under 8 coming up at some point, at least a minute 33 from now. East Texas A&M has a little success, makes a little run, gets it under 10. I mean, it gets really interesting. Or does Oklahoma have a little burst here and get some breathing room? I think this is a really, really important a minute and a half or so.
Scooter Williams Jr., no. So after all that, the Lions got 1 point out of the ordeal. But Jalen Moore is on the bench, Oklahoma's best player to this point in the season. He's got 4 fouls.
And remember, because of the 2 fouls, he only played 13 minutes in the first half. And East Texas A&M was able to hang around.
Elvis, not this time. And a good tip rebound by Josh Taylor. Remember, foul trouble on the side of the Lions. They have 3 players with 3 fouls. Abdul Mateen is one of them. He'll kick it back out, but Fade turns it down. Abdul Mateen's 3. Godwin right in his face, and he buried it. So Abdul Mateen makes his first triple of the night.
And he just sized that up right there. Abdul Mateen, one of those returners who is so important with all the newcomers this year. 13 starts a year ago. Made 35 threes, so he is more than capable and has the experience.
And his scoring is up 8 points per game from a season ago. Jarrett Von Rosenberg said, yeah, it's been very helpful given all the new faces they have on this roster. There's a foul on Sam Godwin underneath.
Yeah. East Texas A&M in Stores 2 nights ago, just 3 of 17 from 3. They haven't been blistering from long range here tonight, but they are 7 of 21.
3 ball helping keep the Lions in it. And Sam Godwin goes over to the bench. He now has 3 fouls. So it'll be Muhammad Wegi entering. Well, those are your 2 rocks over there on the bench with a little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah, sorry, Chad. What I was going to say, too, this is where Glenn Taylor becomes valuable because of his versatility defensively. I mean, he's just a big guard, but you can play him at the 4 some. And I don't mean just in a game like this. I think you can do it for small stretches in the SEC as well.
But they way off the mark with that one. And Kobe Elvis tears away the rebound. Elvis taking himself. Taylor has the rebound the other way for the Lions. Oklahoma led by 18 at one stage, but this East Texas A&M team has been able to hang around all night long. They can cut it down to single digits with a make on this trip. Williams 3, and that's the 3rd time they've had a chance to get it to single digits. Unsuccessfully. Fears all the way in. Man, he is physical for a freshman. A lot of contact on his way to the bucket.
But that time he didn't get too deep. He had his eyes up the whole time, didn't lower his head. Well, he can really absorb contact, and he hangs in the air as well with that athleticism.
Beers has 16 for the Sooners. Long running rebound here. Taylor blocked out of bounds. It'll stay here as over for the SWAT team, Abdul Mateen. He reached the under 8 media timeout. Still a bit of a ball game. East Texas A&M road weary, but still in it at the Lloyd Noble Center. Oklahoma by 12. The Sooners led by 18 at one stage here in the second half. And even though the guard core has been hit by injuries this year, we talked about Jeff Longquo, who's been out, coming back from his Achilles tear, and Sooners without Bryson Godine again tonight, and Jadon Jones. It's been the guards who have carried him when the 2 rocks, the 2 big guys, Brendan, tonight, Jalen Moore and Sam Godwin, have not had their best offensive nights.
Glenn Taylor's been great off the bench, where he had been starting. 10 points. Jeremiah Fears has been terrific offensively, minus the turnovers. He does have 4 of those. And then Duke Miles, 14 points, had a big night.
That's good inbound offense right there. Going up to Weggie, who converts.
And Jalen Moore has not been able to get going. It's been the foul trouble. Talked about the first half, picked up those 2. But that's going to happen, right? I mean, you're going to have stretches or times that Jalen, you can't expect him to go get 22 every night.
It would be nice for the Sooners, but not going to happen every time. And that guy's played a big role. That's 3 for 6 from downtown, 13 points for Taylor.
Well, and you know this, Chad. And what was my first broadcast with you? Northwestern State. At the end of the game, he on the point production part, didn't do much, but I said I like it. I just think he's a really good piece. He makes open threes, doesn't turn it over, and then defensively has great versatility. And with that, he's strong.
Over 100 games of college experience at Oregon State and St. John's for Glenn Taylor Jr. and having his best game in a Sooner uniform here tonight. The foul is on Weggie. That's his first.
Watch 5. Weggie, I think you could have called that on either one of those guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes when you're the bigger guy, you draw the whistle. And Mohamed Weggie will have to go sit. Sooners go with a little more small ball as Jacob Fredson Cole enters. So DeMarco Bethea missing the front end of 1-and-1. And the loose ball scramble goes to Cameron James. Sidestep 3, Abdul Mateen, not this time. And Taylor with another rebound. Fears and Phelps. Phelps fouled him on the floor. He's just got that step. And as Porter Moser said perfectly, he can do in 2 steps what it takes most guards 3 steps to do. And I'm talking about Fears.
And it's a really deceptive burst. I mean, it has almost this smoothness to it. And then, he freezes the defender, kind of hesitates, and then he goes right by. And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, whoa, his defender's now on his backside.
So Fears front end of 1-and-1, and he converts that one. 17 points for Jeremiah Fears tonight. That is a new Sooner career high.
One time, gentlemen. Thank you, guys. Okay, where you at on the I'm there. I got 5.
I tell you what, Chad, for Fears, at least in my mind, the trip to the Bahamas would be great. You get away from here, the comforts of being home, get on the road, experience that. This little play right there from the Lions. Better competition, more experiences where he can go against a more elite athlete at this level.
Quick timeout taken here by Jarrett Von Rosenberg of East Texas A&M. Porter Moser's team 18-point lead, now comfortable at 17, and got the chance to visit with Jarrett Von Rosenberg, and certainly good to hear that his wife Sarah is doing well. Suffered multiple strokes in October of 2023, hospitalized and in ICU for several weeks. She's had to learn to speak, eat, and walk again, but she is back working, and I'm sure watching tonight. Got to be tough for Coach Von Rosenberg to be on the road, but he said she is doing well, and a lot of good signs, Brendan. That's great to hear.
What I was most impressed with was just his perspective, and hopefully she is doing great. He had such good energy when we talked to him today, and good perspective with his ball club. Like I said before, I loved his thoughts on, hey, look, we're one big league. We're playing this brutal schedule. So if I can just keep these guys together and we can take these experiences as we get closer to December, you can tell he really likes his guys. And we always ask coaches early in the year, do you like your guys? And nobody ever says no, but you can tell by the way they say yes.
If there's any hesitation, it draws a red flag.
Hey, especially when you've been around certain guys a long time, even if they say yes, we might go, yeah, he's not big on this group. But no, he's very positive, and they're just going to get better and better.
Porter Moser's big on his guys as well. This is a good experience here with these 4 guards on the floor against full court pressure. Shot clock at 10. 3 is no good out of the corner by Miles, but a reset. Taylor launches early and hits.
Man,
that's his 4th 3.
Yeah, he has really had a game, hasn't he, tonight? Just really smooth and confident on that 3-point shot, and he hasn't taken a bad one.
As Porter Moser said, this guy's played in the Garden many games. So the stage of the SEC is not going to be too big in his Sooner debut here for Glenn Taylor Jr.
Well, 4 of these tonight off the offensive rebound this time. The tap out, ball moved quickly. Bench loves it. As we mentioned, he shot 42% a year ago. Didn't take a bunch of them, but obviously very efficient. He's been more than efficient here tonight.
5 to shoot. For the Lions, the Sooner lead is 20, largest of the night. And Tay Moser going to have to get one up. He did get it away. The retrieval by the Sooners, Kobe Elvis. That's now 6 rebounds and 7 assists for Kobe Elvis. Again, Brendan, impacting things despite not a big scoring night. Beers to the slashing Miles, who finishes with a thump.
Well, again, a breakdown, good vision from Fears setting that one up.
Duke Miles having a night. Sooners have a 14-2 run. And another rebound there, pulled out by Glenn Taylor Jr. 16 for Miles, 18 for Fears, and Taylor with 16. Those 3 guards. Elvis lining up another one. He's off the mark, and Fears claims it, though, for the reset. It is going to be tough to press Oklahoma or deal with them in late game situations because of these guards. I mean, they got 4 of them, and you're going to play them all one-on-one. That's tough duty.
And the experience makes them good decision makers. And with more experience on the floor at this level, this guy will continue to become a good decision maker. Jeremiah Fears with the dime. Pass to Duke Miles. He has 5 assists tonight. That'll happen more later in the year when you can put the ball in his hands and say, go make a play, young freshman.
So the Oklahoma Robber Big 12 foe West Virginia down there as well. So they play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, it's 3 games in a row and a great chance to learn a lot about this team for Porter Moser.
You're going to play 3 really quality opponents. Providence, coached by former Mizzou star Kimmy English when Missouri was still in the Big 12. You get Davidson or Arizona, who's ranked 17 in the country. And then on the 3rd day, you're going to play somebody good. So you're going to learn a lot about yourselves if you're Oklahoma in the Bahamas.
It's a business trip, Brendan. A business trip. Don't think of it as anything else.
For you or the players?
Everybody.
You'll be there.
It's all business.
Okay. What about your traveling party that will be with you?
There may be some leisure. Under 10 to shoot. He's Texas A&M. 1 more game on this extended road trip at Stonehill. They'll play Purdue Fort Wayne at home on the 30th, just their 2nd home game of the year. Here's Fears transitioning. Just finding enough real estate to get himself up there to the window. Just such a good understanding.
And when he jumps off either foot, I mean, he just kind of floats, hangs in the air a little bit. I mean, he's had a great game. You take away, again, the ball security, a couple lapses mentally in terms of the turnover department. I mean, you can see the tremendous upside. I mean, he can play.
Got a timeout here because Duke Miles may have some blood coming from his nose. But it looks like Seth Tisdale going to get that taken care of. Duke Miles, 19 points tonight. Everything's flowing. Can't tell if it's finger in the eye or bloody nose. So the Sooners will substitute here. Looks like Nate Forsyth is going to enter the lineup. And the Lions will sub as well. Brandon Taylor, a senior guard, transferred from Labette Community College, Coppell, Texas native. Under 2 minutes left. Fairly close game, but Oklahoma had a 19-2 run over the last 5.5 minutes to blow the doors off of this one. We talk about the SEC, and this week 7 top 25 teams ranked, and you and I have mentioned what a coaches league it has become. Big 12, certainly the league that Oklahoma came from, coaches league. A lot of greats. Bill Self, Scott Drew done a great job. Obviously, others that were in that league. Porter Moser is one of the 6 SEC head coaches to take a team to the Final Four. That's pretty strong.
Well, it still comes down to coaching. You know, and you and I have talked about it. And you look at what Rick Barnes has done at Tennessee since he left there for Texas. Ole Miss is coming on. Chris Beard in his second year. He took Texas Tech to the national championship game. What Alabama has done, and I've said this, and just if you're just being honest, the SEC in the era of NIL, and it's not just football, is equipped to be successful with that.
Reset here for the Lions. A bump there by Forsyth. Scooter Williams is going to go to the free throw line here for East Texas A&M.
But I tell you what, Jared Van Rosenberg can feel, you know, this thing's going to end up being potentially 30 plus, right? Just like it was 35 in Stores 2 nights ago. But, you know, that old adage is, well, was it closer than the score? But he's not caring about the score. He wants to see effort, playing together, get these players some experience, especially those JUCO guys that they're going to rely heavily on, Williams being one of them. A lot of positives that they can take. I mean, their road schedule has been brutal. They've been all over the country, and not only that, they've played good, you know, not just good people, really good teams in tough environments.
They will be prepped for Southland Conference play. Oklahoma substituting, getting Jake Moser, Reed Lovelace, and Luke Northwetter some run here in the final minute. The guards have led the day, and Oklahoma has pulled away with Sam Godwin and Jalen Moore on the bench, having had foul trouble. Forsyth the pitch out. Jake Moser left open. Banks that one off the side window and in. It's his first bucket of the year. Why not do it from three-point range?
Did that hit the window?
Yeah. I heard him call it.
That's a tough angle. Hey, it was really hard for his dad not to crack a smile.
Under 30 to go. Scooter Williams. And tipped up and in, volleyed back through by Josh Taylor. Shot clock is off. So Jeremiah Fears scores 20. He gets his first start as a Sooner tonight. Duke Miles adds 19 and 16 off the bench from Glenn Taylor Jr. That triumvirate of guards, just excellent. They scored 55 of the 84 for Porter Moser's team, and the Sooners are 4-0 once again under their fourth-year head coach, Jared Van Rosenberg, and his Lions will fall to 1-5. Oklahoma pulled away in the second half, able to stretch that lead out despite a little bit of foul trouble from 2 of their big guns. What was the key in that second half for the Sooners? What let them pull away and put this on ice?
Well, outside the first 2 possessions offensively where they were careless with it, they executed much better. I thought when they drove it to the paint, to get to the paint and then see what develops, versus the first half. I felt like they were just driving it to the paint to get 3-point shots. And obviously they want to take those. They have guys that are capable. So in other words, they took what the defense gave much better. And the energy was better defensively. They contained well, contested jumpers well, and rebounded well. And they were able to eventually get separation from a really gutsy East Texas A&M team.
So the Sooners going to enjoy the moment with the fans at the Lloyd Noble Center. They start the season with 4 consecutive home wins. Sooners shoot 47% from the field, 10 of 32 from three-point range, got to the foul line 22 times, and were able to make 18 of those. So a good effort. Once again, a fairly low turnover number, 10 turnovers. Fears had 4 of those. So the rest of the team combined, just 6 turnovers by the rest of your guys outside of Jeremiah Fears tonight. Fears made up for it in some other ways. And Oklahoma able to salt this one away. We're going to visit with Glenn Taylor Jr., his best performance as a Sooner coming tonight. 16 points, made 4 of 7 threes, and had 5 rebounds. As Oklahoma is able to pull away, leading by just 5 at halftime, and they win this game comfortably by 28 points. First time we've gotten to visit with Glenn Taylor Jr. He's exchanging pleasantries with some fans here at the Lloyd Noble Center, and he's going to sit between Brendan and myself. Autographs are being signed, and we welcome Glenn to the table here.